This video is presented by Western and Southern Financial Group, a game plan for your financial future. Every great team starts with a strong foundation, and your future should too. With life insurance built like a championship roster, Western and Southern helps protect what matters most so you can focus on winning today while planning for tomorrow. Whether you're just starting out your journey, building your dynasty, or ready to retire like a champion, Western and Southern has the right play for your life stage. Visit westernsouthern.com to get your free life insurance quote today. Western and Southern, built to win. All right, let's go to the NFC South. NFC South is next. The Atlanta Falcons are a very interesting team to start with because they're moving on from Raheem Morris. They're moving on from Terry Fontenot. They're changing how they do everything in that organization. They're about to hire a president of football operations, and reports are that it might be Matt Ryan. That person, the only person that he reports to is going to be the owner himself, Arthur Blank. Then they're going to be in charge of hiring a general manager and a head coach. And it's just the direction of this team. And I just think the vision for this team is going to be so different than what it's been over the last 4 years, to be honest with you. So what is the resolution for the Atlanta Falcons?
So before we got news of Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot being let go, I wrote down here, and we have the graphic for it that I'll explain roster-wise, add pass-catching depth. Okay, Drake London is outstanding. He's one of the best receivers in football. Bijan Robinson may be the best running back in football and an outstanding receiver. Kyle Pitts there with an 82 receiving grade, but he's a free agent this offseason. So are we keeping Kyle Pitts? Anybody else who was targeted this season for the Falcons had a 48.9 receiving grade. I think now that it's gone from, okay, find more receivers to this now organizational upheaval, right? GM, head coach, president of football operation, everything that's going to go into this. What does this passing game need to look like to get Michael Penix to play like an above-average quarterback, right? You got to get Michael Penix healthy. You have the run game without question with Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. What needs to be added now, scheme-wise and when it comes to pass catchers, to make Michael Penix the player that he can be? There needs to be more depth at receiver. They have no depth at wide receiver beyond Drake London. They need to figure out what scheme fits Michael Penix. As we talked about at times this year, what the Falcons were doing on offense were just not fitting Penix's skill set, and he needs to be able to throw the ball down the field, especially with play action. They've got to find a way to do that. So now, to me, it goes from just the pass-catching depth to what is the vision for Penix and this entire passing game.
They're one of those teams that has requested an interview for Clint Kubiak.
I am not shocked by that at all because I think Penix could absolutely run that offense.
I think it has to be an offensive guy, right? I think that's not that Raheem was perfect, but I think the only reason why you make the sweeping changes that you did is you don't like how the quarterback situation was handled. You don't like Penix's progression. You're worried about that part of it, and you just want an offensive guy in there. You don't want to get poached for your offensive guys every single year if you figure it out as well.
I think there's a case, and this happened in Carolina with Dave Canales and Ejiro Evero. I think there's a case that if it's an offensive-minded coach coming in, there's a case that they should keep Jeff Ulbrich as a defensive coordinator and just give Ulbrich the keys because their defense was a lot better this year.
Yep.
And then head coach come in and take over if it's a Clint Kubiak, let's say, come in, take over the offense, kind of run it almost like McVay used to with himself and Wade Phillips now, or even probably still how he does now with Chris Shula and the trust that he has. Trust that Jeff Ulbrich and those guys can figure it out. Take over the offense, get Penix where he needs to go. I would not hate that structure at all.
No, I don't mind that idea either. Getting the right coach with Penix, I think, is the number one resolution.
Absolutely.
Even outside of you mentioned, some of the other additions that they could potentially have on that offense. I mean, Penix really struggled at times this season. So whoever the best coaching option is to get the most out of Michael Penix is going to be really important. Carolina. What's Carolina's New Year's resolution? Playoff team, Super Bowl.
Playoff team.
Super Bowl.
Win the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl goes through Carolina, maybe.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
Technically, it doesn't, no. This week it does.
No, it doesn't.
Maybe.
Yeah.
For your Super Bowl bets, it does.
It does, correct, because I picked the Rams to go to the Super Bowl.
I was going to find an angle. I was going to find it eventually.
Smart. Nice.
Anyway, Carolina.
Sharp.
For as much as at times it is frustrating to watch this offense and can be frustrating to watch Bryce Young, I think being that, A, you won the division, albeit backed in, and B, he has improved over the last year and a half, go into this offseason, pick up the fifth-year option, and continue to try to build around him. Since Week 9 of 2024, Bryce Young has a 78 passing grade with 46 big-time throws, 23 turnover-worthy plays. I think it's inconsistent, and you see it there at times with a couple of grades in the high 80s and 90s and then some others in the 30s and 40s. It is inconsistent. It's his second year in the offense. It's been up and down, but we have seen in flashes that he can be a quarterback that wins you ball games, right? And he's a known commodity who is still maybe improving, right? But I think you just have to commit to it and go, let's get this guy more help at wide receiver. Let's get him more help at tight end, right? And they got to continue to build that defense as well. It's certainly better than last year. Needs to continue to get better, especially in the pass rush. I think right now, if you're a team like Carolina, you just made the postseason, you're learning how to win. Take the constants for what they are. For a year and a half, Bryce Young has been a good, if inconsistent, quarterback. Keep building the team around him and see where you can take it and see if there's some sort of ceiling in the next 2 years that you can get to before we start thinking about long-term extensions.
Yeah, I think that my resolution for Carolina is simple. Don't settle anywhere. Yep. That's it. Like, don't go, I mean, we could upgrade wide receiver, but, we have Xavier Legette. Okay, well, we could upgrade a tight end, but, we have Jatavian Sanders, even though he's been hurt. And, the other guys, they played okay. You look at the defense and you go, all right, well, we could get somebody next to Derek Brown, but we got some veteran guys in there, so we'll be all right. I don't want to hear that if you're Carolina. Don't settle. That's it, to me. I want this team to hit the gas pedal with difference makers. If there is somebody on the board, best player available for you to be able to upgrade that you think is going to make a difference for you in the upcoming season and beyond, pick them. I don't care if it's like, do we need another DT? I mean, we have Derek Brown. Who cares? If you got the ability to Caden McDonald. If you think Caden McDonald's going to free up Derek Brown to do whatever he wants and you think that's the best move to make it. I don't care if you have a veteran already there. I don't care if you have like somebody who could potentially make it. Like Xavier Legette, right? I sure hope they don't have this like, well, you know what? I mean, we have Legette, so we don't have to get another wide receiver. If there's a really good wide receiver staring you in the face, pick him. I don't even care if it's in the first round. If you think that makes the most sense for your team to get better and win this division again the next year, do it. So I would just say don't settle if you're Carolina. Don't settle anywhere on this roster.
There are two realities, and the second one is very pragmatic, and they need to keep this in mind. Yes, they won the NFC South for the first time in 10 years, correct? First time since
2015.
They're also a team that still finished the season below 500. It's still an 8-9 football team with a lot of flaws.
Right.
If you can go into this offseason thinking like that and going, hey, we have a long way to go still, then you talk about getting a whole lot better. And there's a lot of areas of their team that are still below average. They have an opportunity this offseason to really capitalize this. And with the way the Bucs have been going, with the Falcons going through some upheaval, you could turn around and win this division again next year if you do this offseason, right?
Yeah, you can.
Absolutely, yeah, especially that division.
So New Orleans is another team that they'll think about next year, especially because of what Tyler Shuck has been for New Orleans in the second half of the season. Is the resolution for them as simple as just building around Tyler Shuck?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Keep building this team. Look, the offensive line has been playing better as the year has gone on. I really like Kelvin Banks at left tackle. Chris Olave is obviously a stud. They got to find some receiver depth. They got to put a run game together. When you just look at the offensive grades in general for this Saints team around the quarterback, right? You're 20th in receiving grade. That's gotten better since Shuck's been the quarterback. We're getting better balls to catch. Chris Olave got hot late in the season. Rushing and run blocking grade, both second worst in the NFL. We've got Kellen Moore wants to run the football. We saw this in Philadelphia. He wants to run the football. Find a long-term solution at running back. Find some more solutions on the interior offensive line to help the run game. And pass blocking's gotten better, again, especially with Kelvin Banks at left tackle as the year has gone on. I think the passing game is going to be okay from what Shuck has shown us. The run game especially, we got to support this guy. This cannot be a one-dimensional offense. If they add balance, I think this could be a really good football team next year. They got to decide what they're going to do in the offensive line and at running back to find long-term solutions so they can start running the football the way that Kellen Moore wants to.
I think that it is as simple as that. Like, the run game's got to be better to complement things. You mentioned that. I think that the team is... The Saints finished the year way better than I thought they were going to. I guess I'll just say that. I mean, this is a team that they were positioned for a top 5 draft pick the whole year, basically, and that's sort of what I had projected for them. But, man, they really went on a run in that second half. And so, yeah, I mean, figuring out some passing weapons to be able to throw to, some new talent in the running back room to really be able to help out. But they've been given a gift here with how Tyler Shuck ended the second half of the season. Build around him, see what you got next year, and really try to hit the ground running. For Tampa Bay, to me, the resolution for Tampa Bay is just get down to the root cause of whatever the issue was on defense. they had a lot of injuries throughout the year. They were up and down. I mean, Baker obviously struggled, and Baker's just got to be better next year anyways. But especially down the last month, so many games were just these busted coverages, and Todd Bowles dropping F-bombs in the press conference, and the players saying like, oh yeah, well, it's a simple, you got to just do your job. Okay, well, who's not doing the job? What is the job? Who's not doing the job? Why aren't they doing the job? Remove those players. Right? Like that's to me, it's find the root cause of why the defense was so ineffective down the stretch. That to me is the resolution here for this team. And I know you, in our sheet you've got a more specific one about like the linebacker level, because that's a big issue that they had. But like they had corners busting coverage all the time. They had guys in the defensive line who weren't containing the quarterback the way that they need to. They had Tyke Smith, I think, struggled as a true safety this year, where he was so good as a nickel the previous season. So I think they just have a lot of issues defensively that they've got to get to the bottom of.
It felt like there was so many things that eroded the leadership as the year went on, right? We've, like you mentioned, the Todd Bowles presser after the Atlanta game. We've never seen him like that. Mike Evans being out for a while, not being on the field, right? Levante David in his last season struggling, right? We just, Tristan Wirfs was hurt. A lot of Baker Mayfield struggling. A lot of the leaders on this team were either out or not playing as well as they normally do. And I think that really played a factor. Now, again, the two spots that I would look at when you talk about the defense, number one, linebacker. If we're assuming Levante David's retiring, I don't like any options that they have or what their linebacker room looks like right this minute. 28th in the NFL in PFF grade this year, the linebackers. And look, Servassier Dennis, I'll be honest, I think he's more of a sub-package kind of player. I don't think he's a starter, and I don't think they have another starter going into next year.
No, they need four new linebackers.
Yes, so I think probably 80% of your mock drafts when you get into this spring for the Bucs are going to be linebacker, probably somebody like Sonny Styles from Ohio State, or edge rusher. I love Yaya Diaby, solid player, right? This team cannot disrupt quarterbacks without blitzing. Yeah. You have to be, and I know Todd Bowles is aggressive, and he's going to have a high blitz rate, and that's what he does. You have to, at some point for a stretch of football games, be able to rush four and disrupt the quarterback. I like the interior, Vita Vea, Kalijah Kancey when he's healthy, cool. Yaya Diaby, solid pressure generator. I need a primetime guy off the edge. I don't know if they're going to draft a David Bailey if they get that shot, or whoever that may be. I don't care. They need to find a way to get better when they rush four, because in too many games this year, they were too reliant on blitzing to get to quarterbacks.
I agree.
Everyone's got takes. Numbers have truth. And the truth is, most people are betting with emotion. Sportsbooks feed on it. TikTok gurus sell it. The hype machine runs on it. That's how you lose. PFF is different. You're betting with winning data. The same data trusted by all 32 NFL teams and the sharpest minds in the game. PFF betting tools take every prop, every matchup, every angle, and run them through our custom models. Built on the best football data in the world. What comes back is your edge. Simple, sharp, and built to win. Want to go deeper? PFF puts a pro-level analytics department in your hands, giving you the same insights teams use to find every advantage. Build your game plan with matchup analysis. Project every snap, every matchup, and every edge before kickoff, because the smartest plays start long before Sunday. Hit rates show how a player performs against their prop and against defenses built the same way. It's the data that gives you real confidence in every pick. Next, Key Insights translates PFF data into the story behind every matchup, giving you the why that powers your bets. From coverage schemes to defensive looks, it's the context that turns raw numbers into winning decisions. When you're ready to take action, filter through every prop on the market and focus on the opportunities that matter, by game, matchup, or value. Then, shop for the best available line in your area and tap your book of choice to place the bet instantly. Everyone's got takes, but now you've got truth. Bet with data, win with PFF.